Hey guys, so welcome back to the series. Today we are in day 121 and in chapter 14 of 1 Samuel. This is a rather long chapter, so I'll try to summarize it pretty quick. So the first part of the chapter, Jonathan, Saul's son, is telling his young armor bearer, come, let's go over to the Philistine outpost on the other side, and he did not tell his father Saul that he was doing this. So he took his armor bearer with him, and they were successful in their battle against the Philistine outpost, and they killed about 20 or so men. And it says, then a panic struck the whole army, and those in the camp and field and those in the outposts, and the raiding parties in the ground shook, and it was a panic sent by God. And so then the Israelites are in battle with the Philistines, and in verse 20 it says they found the Philistines in total confusion, striking each other with their swords. And so it says, on that day the Lord saved Israel, and the battle moved on beyond Beth Aven. So then Saul instates an oath saying, cursed be anyone who eats food before evening comes, because before I have avenged myself on my enemies. So none of the troops tasted food, so they were becoming rather hungry. Apparently Jonathan didn't know about this oath, and he ate some of the honeycomb that they found along their way, and the men warned him against it, but then Jonathan brushed it off by saying it's better to have energy from this little bit of honey. And so the men followed in his footsteps, and then Saul found out about it and told them that they need to have a sacrifice to make amends for their actions. And so then in verse 35 it says, then Saul built an altar to the Lord, and it was the first time he had done this, which I think is interesting that it points out that that was the first time that Saul had built an altar, even though he had been leading Israel for quite a while now. So then Saul asked God, well, shall I pursue the Philistines? But God didn't answer him right then. And then it says in verse 47, after Saul had assumed rule over Israel, he fought against their enemies on every side, and all the kings of the Philistines and Ammonites and Moab and Edom. So then in the last verse it goes on to say, all the days of Saul there was bitter war with the Philistines, and whenever Saul saw a mighty or brave man, he took him into his service. So that finishes out this chapter, and we'll move into chapter 15 tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great night. Bye.